Hello, beautiful people. Okay, how can you possibly be expected to develop self trust and to guide your life properly and steadily if you can't hear the truth of your inner voice? And how are you supposed to maintain contact, steady contact with the truth of your inner voice if nobody around you is reflecting it back to you? Ooh, oh, we are not the independent, hyper independent people that we think we are. In fact, one of the things that they used to do in China, if they wanted to really punish someone, is that they would ghost them. And the person would feel real abandonment if everybody stares at you like you're a ghost by not staring at you, looking through you. You're not going to feel like you're there. Well, I think that one of the things that happens in our modern culture is we are not necessarily ghosting the people that we love, but sometimes we are ghosting our own true voice. And then because we do that and we don't hear it, we don't reflect it back to others and they don't reflect it back to us. The true self gets ghosted. And so what we've been doing for 9 years at Joy-Based Living is practicing a language of the true self. The true self speaks to you through your body, through your knowing, and it speaks more and more and more when it feels honored, when it feels heard, when it feels a sense of your loyalty. It will give itself up for you and unfold into flowers and gardens and multiple beautiful possibilities every single day. It will just unfold. Your path will unfold. You will learn to dance with life. So what did this young mother do? This young mother happens to be a script writer and a corporate coach, and she was also certified as a yoga instructor. And so she's somebody who likes practice and repetition and growing and creating and evolving. So I've been mentoring her, and what happened was she had purchased the 12 Practices of Joy ebook. At the time, it was just called the 12 Practices. She purchased it because she was working with people who she thought it would help them. So she printed it out, and one day she decided to open it, and she started feeling it. Those first 3 practices, you will feel them. She started feeling it and immediately called her best friend. They're in France, and so they would meet each other, like sometimes in train stations. Sometimes they would meet on the phone. Sometimes they'd meet at a restaurant. And they started doing the 12 practices together. Oh my gosh. And after starting a few of them, she reached out to me and said, will you please give me permission to translate this into French? I'm qualified to do it. I'll gift this to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to take you up on that, but it would take a certain bandwidth for me. And I don't think JBL is ready for that at this moment. This was a couple years ago. I'm juicing myself up, getting ready to allow this possibility to happen. But all these other things are happening right now. Okay, where am I going with this? This young mom, she said, Debbie, I was just so tired of conversations about the children. I love my children, but all of my conversations revolved. It was all children talk. And she said, I was just so lonely. And what the 12 practices gave her and her best friend was meaningful conversations. So they did it as an experiment, as an exploration. That's the way to do it. She learned to listen to her body. She learned to listen to her friend's deeper truth. And then when she was done with the 12 practices, guess what she did? She started them all over again. I want you to have the gift of meaningful conversations with yourself. Here's what she said to me in our last conversation. By the way, my conversations with her are recorded at Patreon. They're at patreon.com/joy-based living. Just look up Conversations with Pauline. There's a collection. In this last conversation, she said to me, not only do I have more twinkles in my eyes and in the eyes of people around me in my life, but I also think I know and I understand better how to create them, She said, I used to be just waiting for them to happen and, fall from the sky and appear magically. And they would. She said, they existed before, but I think it's become easier for me to just, decide to have them. Oh, my heart just glowed when I heard her say that. So I want to share a few things for you for the logic part of your brain. Okay, here's the 12 Practices of Joy ebook. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just an absolutely gorgeous cover? The subtitle is Find Your People, Speak Your Truth, Live Your Joy. And here it is, the number one thing that restored her sanity. It's just what I said. There might be a little bit more here to get to the left side of your brain. The more logical part, inviting a friend into the conversation of the 12 practices of joy. When she completed the practices, she started them again, and she invited new friends to join her to speak the language with her. This is so profound because it's not about fixing yourself in isolation. If you do that, it can actually create more feelings of shame. Shame thrives in secrecy, silence, and judgment. When we practice this language together and we practice honor, we heal cultural wounds of shame. We have shared language and practice. It's not a one and done program. It's a living, breathing way of being that you cycle through with different people. It solves core and a universal problem. The loneliness that this mom described, that craving for meaningful conversation instead of children's talk, and, it creates a ripple effect. Each person who learns this language of joy-based living becomes someone who can invite others in. This is our joy revolution in action. It's one conversation, one friendship, one practice at a time. And I hope that this brings you a sense of, okay, I can get some footing into having more clarity about my life, into where to find answers inside of myself, into how to get to that space inside of myself, that space that has a sense of knowing, that space that has a sense of clarity, that space where twinkles come from, that when we offer a sense of, I hear you, I see you, I care about what you genuinely want, I'm showing up here with you and for you without any agenda, relatedness without any agenda, that's what allows the sparkle in the eye to come out and go, am I safe here to come out? Am I safe? And inside of the feeling of safety, when someone's eyes start twinkling because they're really genuinely feeling bright inside or brightening up inside, it's contagious and it'll go back and forth. And when we create relationships like that, when we create households and friendships like that, when we create families like that, we thrive, we shine. To me, those are living temples. To me, it's the most sacred thing you could possibly do. I know a lot of young people have turned away from religion. I understand why that would be. But we have to find a way home to ourselves, to the part of us that is connected to the mystery of life that lives and breathes inside of us. It's always steady. It's always like a clean river. It's always there. It is where our life force and happiness and knowingness and self-worth, it all comes from there. And it's always there, but sometimes it can be just so covered up. So like the first 3 practices in the 12 practices of joy, the first 4 actually, they help you get in touch with your body in a way that goes, oh, this is the cleanup. Oh, okay. But then you're cleaning up from a sense of there's something bigger inside of me that's holding space for the stuff that's being cleaned up. So it's kind of like a turkey pan. It just, the yuck comes off, comes up, and moves on out. And then what you're left with is a feeling of wholeness and clarity. And it doesn't mean you don't have any bad moods. It doesn't mean you don't have any doubts. It doesn't mean that you don't ever get angry again or anything like that. It just means you know where to find that steady pulse inside of you, and you know how to develop relationships that create that experience. My dream is to have more and more relationships in the world, families, communities, friendships, where the true self has a space to live and breathe and thrive and grow and fly. That is my wish for you. Thank you so much for being here in this conversation. Please feel free to leave comments, questions. I want to know what's inside of you. I really care about messaging to young people because you're at a place in your life that the decisions that you make will affect the entire trajectory of your life. And, you know, this is information I wish I had when I was 15. When I was 15, I read my first personal development book, and I got it from the bookstore, and it was called How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends. And what's so cool about the 12 practices of joy, it makes me want to cry, is that it feels like a continuation of that book, because starting a friendship, it can be easy, but if it's not based on a deep sense of your core values, it will be on shifting sand. You'll end up feeling either blown off, maybe even betrayed, maybe shamed, because you won't understand that your differences are just naturally, they're okay. And you won't understand that if you're not aligned with your core values, you might feel wrong for feeling different, for being different. I want you to celebrate your differences. I want you to celebrate what makes you spark. And those people who you really align with, who want to have deeper, more authentic conversations, they're going to be more attracted to you because they're going to see a light in your eyes and they're going to want what you have. I want to tell you something that's a little secret of mine, is that not everybody wants what I have. Like, I show up as a stabilizer for people who want more joy in their lives. And I go, come on, this way. Yeah, you got this. I'm kind of like a lighthouse, like this way, come this way. We're all going this way. But some people are turned off by my message because I might be too happy for them. And I had to learn that the hard way. I felt very judged and I felt very alone for a while because I'm pioneering this. Nothing like this exists anywhere in the world. Because honestly, if it did, I would have joined it. So, everything that you see in the 12 Practices ebook is there to help you establish this deeper kind of relationship with yourself so you can stabilize yourself in greater joy, and you can develop relationships that support that in you and you support that in them. And once you have that, you have like a perpetual positive energy machine. A perpetual positive energy machine. It's like an infinity symbol. It just keeps going. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And then even when things get a little wonky or weird, the wonky and weirdness doesn't last as long. And you find your way back to that river of the perpetual positive energy machine, because it's just always moving. Oh, and then there's some bumpies. Oh, and then you're on it again. And then you're on it again. You keep finding your way back to center, to your deepest truth. You learn to trust your joy.